In today's episode, Antonia asks, how often should I be cleaning my email marketing lists? Good question. Given the volatile nature of the economy and the employment situation, regardless of where you are on the planet, cleaning your list is getting more and more and more important, and cleaning it frequently because stuff's going bad all the time. So why? I mean, take a look at this chart. This is the Bureau of Labor Statistics from the United States of America. Total unemployed plus everybody who's being underutilized. And at the peak of whatever we want to call this pandemic, it was around 22% of the workforce, right? We are still seeing large numbers of layoffs every week. No longer 1 million a week, but still very, very substantial. And what we're seeing now as the pandemic drags on is you're starting to see this in B2B marketing as well, because obviously if the B2C marketing supply chain is disrupted, that ripples upstream. So cleaning your list is super important because stuff's going bad all the time, but much faster this year than in previous years. There's 4 points really where email addresses degrade for one reason or another. The first point of cleaning should be on submission with the form. So the moment somebody fills out a form and submits it, that list should go through verification. That email should go through verification to check that it's valid, right? Somebody didn't just put like test@test.com in there. So that's point number one. And there are plenty of services that will do that, integrate with various providers and forms and can validate the email at the point of submission. So that's number one. That's important if you don't have any other validation mechanisms, because you don't want junk going into your list if you can avoid it. The second point of cleaning is, depending on your marketing automation system or your email marketing software, is at point of upload. So if you have a system, I use, for example, Mautic, and that requires manual upload for some stuff. And at that point, that's when you should be doing some cleaning. So I clean through Million Verifier on upload every week when I move data from my website to my marketing automation system. Could I automate that? Yes, but then I would have an issue where I'm not sure 100% of the addresses going in are clean, so I want to make sure that they are. The third point is after every send, you need to be taking a very careful look at the bounces. A lot of email marketing systems, software, will try to manage bounces for you because it's kind of a pain. It is definitely not fun scraping through error logs and things. But what I find is that there are some systems which interpret the different error codes that you get from email marketing, and they don't interpret them the same way I would. They classify a soft versus a hard bounce differently. Some are overzealous and unsubscribe people that frankly shouldn't be unsubscribed. Like if you get a soft bounce message like, user mailbox is full or over quota, that to me is not an unsubscribe, not immediately. So that's the third point, is going in and digging around in your email marketing system and your error logs and seeing exactly what has happened. You should be doing this anyway. Depending on your email marketing software and the service provider you're using, you may get raw server logs, you may get notifications. I use Amazon SES, and it gives me bounce reports for every single message I send. I obviously don't need to read the ones that succeeded. Those just go straight in the trash. And then the ones that did not succeed, what were they? Were they a complaint, meaning somebody hit the report a spam button? Those go immediately into the unsubscribe bucket. Were they a hard bounce? What kind? What was the code? Was it a temporary failure or a permanent failure for a hard bounce? Was it a soft bounce, like mailbox full? And again, was it temporary or permanent? So those are sort of the things I need to dig through every time I send my newsletter, so that I'm not sending to people, A, who don't want it, and B, I'm not sending to addresses that are not working based on my understanding of the different error codes. And then finally, the fourth cleaning schedule should be cleaning and verifying every address in your database that has not been opened or clicked in 30 days, right? If there's no activity on an account for 30 days, run it through a cleaner. Make sure that it's still valid. Because, again, We don't know how quickly our databases are going bad. I do know that my own mailing list in 2020 has turned over about 40%. Right, so 40% of the addresses that were there in January 1 are not there anymore. The list is larger now, so I've managed to, thankfully, with folks like you, be able to keep my overall list size good, but there's been a tremendous amount of churn. And one of the things I see people do really wrong in email marketing, particularly B2B, is they say you must use your work address, right? You must use, CSPen at Trust Insights. Yeah, you can't use your Gmail address. Well, surprise, this year with as much turnover as we're having in companies, that Gmail address or Hotmail address or whatever may be the only way you have to stay in touch with that person. So if you are overly strict on that policy, I would counsel being a little more flexible right now, because if that person is valuable as a human being, give them any way they want to subscribe. Let them stay subscribed, all right? Because you don't know that manager from that big corporation that you're trying to woo may be unemployed for a little while, and then may become director of marketing at a mid-sized business. And instead of being somebody who's low down on the totem pole, they may suddenly have signing authority. But if you disqualified them from subscribing to your stuff because they put in the Gmail address, you've lost that opportunity. There is no harm in keep letting people communicate with you in the way that they want. So keep that in mind. So those are the 4 phases of cleaning: on form submission, on upload to the system, on every send, and then anything that is older than 30 days with no activity. Doing your cleaning frequently will keep your list in good shape. It will reduce complaints. It will reduce invalid sends. It will set off fewer spam traps. Really, really important to keep your list as clean as you possibly can. In terms of services, there's so many to choose from. I use one called Million Verifier. I think it's great. The pricing is good. There are others: Zero Bounce, Never Bounce, Melissa Data. Take a look around. Do your comparisons on pricing and accuracy, and see if you want to test a vendor. Give them a list of addresses and pollute it with 30% bad addresses, stuff that is bad but doesn't look obviously bad, and see which vendor comes back with the best results. Right, here's your 100 email sample, and see what percentage comes back. And if they flag all the bad ones and they identify most of the good ones, great. You can measure their accuracy and see how they do. If you got follow-up questions on this topic, which is a super fun topic, I love email marketing. I did it for years professionally. Leave your questions in the comments box below. Subscribe to the YouTube channel and the newsletter. I'll talk to you soon. Take care. Want help solving your company's data, analytics, and digital marketing problems? Visit trustinsights.ai today and let us know how we can help you.